So, hello to everybody. It is great to be all together here. We're very glad to welcome you all here today. I have to admit that this initiative was taken just 2 weeks before, while Yes Forum during quarantine got in touch with youth shipping organizations from various countries, adapting, of course, to the new social distancing reality. Young Executive Shipping Yes Forum of Greece, in partnership with YOUNGSHIP Cyprus, YOUNGSHIP Turkey, YOUNGSHIP Panama, YOUNGSHIP Venezuela, YOUNGSHIP Singapore, YOUNGSHIP Texas, Young Professionals in Shipping Network Hong Kong, Young Shipping Professionals New York, Young Professionals in Shipping Network Shanghai and Beijing, Maritime Geo India, Shipping Professionals Network London. It's all about shipping UK, and tools from Norway and representatives of Dubai and Japan want to transmit you only positive vibes and motivate you to take part in our dialogue. This conversation will focus in the future of the young people, present generation in the shipping industry, and we are at your disposal for any question arise regarding shipping industry. We will not answer any political question, as this is not the aim we are here today. Today, we would meet as Yes Forum in Poseidon exhibition, which is postponed for the 26th to 30th of October, but the 5th of June would be the Yes Shipping event, and we thought of celebrating it with all these great representatives from all over the world. So we will have 3 rounds. The round 1 will be the presentations of the organizations. The round 2 will be questions that will be answered, replied by the representatives. And round 3 will be the audience and registration questions, some questions that you have done to all of us when you register. So we would like to start with YOUNGSHIP Cyprus and their representative, Fotimi Papahadzaki. Fotimi, you can present your association.
Hello everybody, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know from which part of the world you're currently watching this. Thank you, Danai, for taking this initiative, and to Yes Forum. I won't keep you too long. I don't want to bore you too much with the details, okay? I'll make a short presentation of our association. Okay, so YOUNGSHIP Cyprus, by us, through us, for us. Okay, so the YOUNGSHIP Cyprus was founded in 2012 as a branch of YOUNGSHIP International that was founded in 2004. It's a non-profit organization. It exists in 28 cities. So if you're a young person up to 40 years old of age who work in the wider field of shipping and maritime offshore industry, you have the opportunity to participate as a member or as an administration of the association. So our objectives is to have an open dialogue, exchange ideas and experiences. We support continuous education and training, and we encourage our members to develop ideas, start and initiative projects in order to promote shipping as general. So we're proud members of the Cyprus Shipping Chamber and the Cyprus Youth Council. This is our current team, 8 very talented individuals. Maybe some faces are familiar. Philippos is also part of the YOUNGSHIP International. The 3 of us down here are the fresh blood. Let's say we just started in February. We happily welcome 280 members to our YOUNGSHIP Cyprus family, and we hope to raise that number actually. Just some of our partners, such as the Shipping Deputy Ministry, Cyprus branch of Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, ISTA. Some of our annual activities, we host every first Friday a live after work event where we basically chit chat, have nice conversations, exchange our news and ideas. Actually, after this forum, for everybody who's listening in Cyprus, we have one at 6 o'clock at Mason Bar. If you're joining, I would love to see you. We held some workshops. We held twice the elevator pitch workshop. We were introduced with the idea of how to make an impression in 30 seconds or less. And believe me, it's really hard because I joined that. We support lifelong learning. We co-organize conferences such as the one back in October with the name of The Rise of Soft Skills. Of course, we have a great social responsibility. We cleaned several times our beautiful beaches here in Cyprus. Some social events, of course, are very important. So Limassol Banat is very interesting. Our scholarship programs, we have a partnership with CIM, Cyprus Institute of Marketing, and we offer to our members 5 MBA scholarships. As well, we have a partnership with Encore Insurance, and we offer to our members yearly 3 scholarships to do the ICS program and have the professional qualification exams. Every 2 years that the Maritime Cyprus Conference is organized, we are also joining. We had last year a very interesting young executive session. Of course, our annual gala dinner, it's every November, around November, where we also are holding the annual awards. We try to create a culture of recognition and we promote individuals who are all very talented. So we have awards such as the Leader of the Year, Company of the Year. Well, that's it from me. These are our contacts. I'm sure you can find us on almost every social media. Back to you, Danai.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fotini. And now we will pass to Sumit Sharma, Maritime CEO, a newly established organization. Sumit, please tell us a few words about this newly established organization in India. No, you have to unmute.
Yes. Hi, am I audible?
You are okay. We're listening to you.
Okay. Thank you, Danae, for the introduction. A few words about Maritime SheEO. So Maritime SheEO was conceptualized with the idea of bringing more talent into the industry and diversity into the industry. We offer a bouquet of services to companies by focusing on the business case for diversity. We aim to create solutions that can impact the entire maritime industry with the focus on diversity, inclusion, leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship, and competitive advantage. And Maritime SheEO employs D&I initiatives to address some of the issues such as, unconscious bias, gender sensitization techniques throughout the program. And it enables a smooth transition of women from ship to shore positions. And our main focus is that more women should rise to leadership position. And for this, we have the Leadership Accelerator program, which will help women achieve this. And further, we will work with employers and companies across various domains of the maritime industry in India to create an environment which is conducive for women to, rise to leadership positions. And also, just to add, we are conducting a research on that's our latest initiative, which is on business case for diversity in Indian companies. So this is a little bit.
Very, very nice. Thank you very much. And now we will pass to Maria Dragomerli. She's representing the Shipping Professionals Network in London. Maria, welcome.
Thank you very much, Danai. Thank you, yes, for inviting us to participate in this. It is a cause that SPNL has been supporting since it was founded in 2007. We aim to provide a platform for young shipping professionals to create a social and professional network. And we do that by organizing regular events. We try to have an educational context. We invite people from the industry to give talks, and then we hold networking drinks, or we organize some networking drinks. At least we do a big event at least every year for our members. We have an active database of over 1,500 members that attend our events regularly. our sponsors we are very grateful for their support and helping us put together interesting events for our members. And of course, the young people in shipping that keep supporting us. London is a maritime center, and we have new people joining us all the time. And it is really important to provide a platform where young people can come in and meet people socially who are going through the same things at the beginning of their careers, and a few years down the line, these people will become colleagues, clients, and important people in the industry. So for everyone listening, if there are people that are starting work in the shipping industry in London or in any of the affiliate organizations internationally, we've got an SPNL in Hamburg, in Copenhagen, Zurich, Mumbai, and I'm sure there will be a good network for new people joining the industry.
This is also why we're organizing this today, because we're starting for first time a dialogue that we will include as many countries as we can, because this is the main thing, to make social awareness and to mention what are the problems and of course to find solutions. Thank you very much, Maria. Now I will pass the floor to Tabitha, the E-floor, as we say, because everything is happening through technology. Tabitha Logan is representing young professionals in shipping network in Hong Kong. Tabitha, welcome.
Thanks so much, Danae. I'll just share my presentation. Right, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you all today. So a little bit about the Young Professionals Network in Hong Kong. So we were founded about a decade ago when we were still considered to be young. And we're proud to say that it was a female-led initiative that emerged from Hong Kong. It came about because we recognized that there was a lack of informal networking events aimed at the younger professionals. And also an organization that supported young people starting out in their maritime career. The current management or the current team consists of myself, Suyin and Winton. And between us, we've all worked in Hong Kong and Asia for a very long time in various different capacities, such as shipping law firms, ship owners, for flag state, and a commodity house. We have over 1,000 members in our Hong Kong network, and Hong Kong itself, the industry is very dynamic, it's very vibrant, and most importantly, it's very international. There are people from all over the world that base themselves here because we have representatives from every sector of the industry based here, and also because we have the 4th largest shipping registry in the world. So what we do, well, we do lots of different things. We sit on some government bodies here in Hong Kong. We help to organize events such as Hong Kong Maritime Week, and we also help to promote the Hong Kong government internship program here. The Hong Kong government will pay 75% of the wage of an intern in a maritime company to try and encourage more young people to get into the industry, and also for corporations to employ more interns, and that's been quite a successful scheme. And we've also run some education days where we go in and talk to students about careers in the maritime industry. We really do believe it's important to start educating people quite young, because that's sort of when they form their decisions on what career path they want to take. So we do go into schools and we do talk to students about the various different careers that they can have, and we also talk to university students as well quite regularly. Obviously, over the years, we've worked hard to raise the profile of Hong Kong as a global maritime centre, and we do this in a number of ways. We run a lot of different events over the years. We do sort of sporting events. The Pacific Basin Soccer Sixes tournament is pretty well known in Hong Kong. We also run debates. We do panels. We do seminars. In 2016, we were recognised by Lloyd's List for the work that we're doing. And obviously, being a female-led organisation, we are quite proud of that. And we do a lot of events that obviously focus on women in the shipping industry as well. Also, what's special about our events is that we get a lot of C-suite leaders that come to them. It was quite interesting to see how many sort of CEOs and senior management were attending, because they're really interested to engage with young professionals and talk to them. And actually, you know, job opportunities can come out of that, or business opportunities. So we really encourage, you know, all levels of the industry to attend our events. Apart from that, we also launched our most ambitious event last fall. This was an innovation challenge that was set up for startups, tech startups in the maritime industry. It was a huge learning experience for us because we obviously had to do fundraising, and it was a global event. We had 42 applications from 14 different countries who flew in, and it was the first event of its kind in Hong Kong. We had six startups pitching live on stage. It was streamed live, and also there were a lot of members of the Hong Kong shipping industry who were there. And that was really important for us because, you know, it showed that we were bringing the startups together with the industry, and we got a lot of value in helping out these startups. So we hope to be able to continue that work in 2020. And this is sort of all with a view of how we can evolve the YPSN network to connect with our global counterparties as well, and not just focusing on Hong Kong and Asia. And that's all from me. I'll hand back to you. Thanks, Danae.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here with us. And now I will go to Wei Zhuang. He's representing young professionals in shipping network of Shanghai and Beijing. Wei, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good evening. And first of all, thank you, Teresa, for your kind introduction. Makes it possible to get connected to our sister associations of the world. Well, YPSN China, actually we are sister association, especially very close to the YPSN Hong Kong. And so far we have roughly 1,000 members, and among them, I think 600 is quite active. And there's not a really region to lose to join, as long as you would like to know more about shipping or what you are doing relevant to the shipping industry. To be honest, we're even surprised to find that we have a few, you know, very royal participants, over 60, and their reason is, okay, my heart is still young. So the reason for this kind of platform is really benefit for the whole industry, and we truly believe the young talents represent the future for the industry. And we yearly host, you know, 3 to 4 big events, and it could be quite a series, the seminars, and to discuss how the female leaders in the shipping industry, what kind of challenges, and we also adjusted the digital revolution of the shipping industry, what kind of the possible the trends in the future, such as the blockchain, and of course we also organize quite often some female loved, you know, yoga or hiking, or even recently we have the paragliding events. And quite often we just thanks to big sponsors, whenever we receive the fund, then we will have the bar and the social events and extend invitations to our members. So it's quite flexible, the platform, and many of our members really enjoyed because they got a chance to know, you know, broaden their horizon about shipping knowledge. And the newly graduated students from university, they're really cherish this platform. And our latest event is also the online we organized by the Zoom, because the lockdown of the COVID-19. We encourage our members to share their frustrations, their feelings, their lessons, and we wanted to, you know, provide ourselves as well the more the uplifted message and what we can learn from the future. Last but not least, it's really nice to know you guys all, and hope we can get connected. The world is so small, and take care. Thank you. That's it.
And this is very important. How quickly, in just 2 weeks, one brought the other, because we do not all know everybody. And we became a big family with many countries and different cultures. And we also found a time to do it, because for some of us, we're in the middle of the day, but for some of you, you're in the beginning of the day, early beginning. Yes, I know, Nelly. And for some of you, you're late in the day. So we're very, very happy that we found the way to do it, and thank you all very much. Before going to Ellie and New York, I would like to say to the people who are watching us that if you want, you can write your questions also when the discussion will be starting. But if you have any questions, please be our guests. So at this point, I would like to welcome Ellie Ginsberg. He is representing the young shipping professionals in New York. Ellie, welcome.
Good morning, buenos dias, buenas tardes, and good evening to all around the world. Really excited to be here. When Danae originally reached out with the team, I didn't realize how large this could get, but seeing everyone else's face in front of me is quite exciting to those I know and those I don't know. The Young Shipping Professionals of New York was founded in 2007 and incorporated in 2012. With the similar ideas that other organizations have thought about, bringing together the young professional network in New York. First, to start with networking. How do you interact with other people in your industry if perhaps you're not empowered to be in a position to interact with others in the industry, and certainly within our space in the New York area. It then continued to expand past networking and into different sort of events and different regional events that we could bring people together to have these sort of discussions similar to what we're having here. We do want to make sure that we work with different organizations as well in the New York area. So we're very close with our partners in WISTA, New York, the NMEPA organization, the North American Marine Protection Association, NYMAR, the New York Maritime Association, and of course the CMA, the Connecticut Maritime Association. During the year, we run a number of different networking events, both individually and alongside with other events in the area, with our biggest event being our Marine Money Week networking event, which we've done consistently for the past 10 years. Similarly, we have around 1,000 people within our database with a good core group of members, but we're continuously looking to expand. And we're expanding both up the chain and down the chain. It's important for us to connect with students in the industry, so those at SUNY Maritime, New York, and as well the Kings Point College up in upstate New York, to bring students together who are in the industry or who will be pursuing further careers in the industry. So at the moment, we continue to work doing networking events, and as well, we've started to branch into smaller networking events. One of our most successful events have been our mentorship and leadership dinners. So specifically, we've reached out to executives in the New York area who are just as interested in being a part of organizations like this and speaking with all of us one-to-one. And so we were able to do some very successful intimate dinners in which we can start to bridge the gap between a C-level executive versus a young shipping professional. How does the executive bring knowledge to the young professional, and how does the young professional understand what it means to get to that level in their career? So as of now, we're continuously looking to expand our horizons, but we do have members across the country and those around the world that would join us. So I would encourage everyone who is coming to New York amongst the crisis eventually to look us up. Our network is meant not to just be a networking and social events, but we're trying to expand our network as to those who are coming to the New York area who perhaps don't know any other young shipping professionals, and welcome you into our wonderful city. And with that, I think I'll stop and continue with the conversation, but I really am very excited to continue this dialogue with everyone, and hopefully in the future see some of you in New York very soon.
Of course, we want to come back in New York. Until September, we cannot, unfortunately, but I think that, yes, of course, we will want to go again to visit again New York. At this point, I would like to mention something that you said. Yes, many of us were part of organizations such as WISTA, Propeller Club, and BIMCO, and IMO. So I think that this is the great opportunity for the voices of the young people to be heard. And as we see that, you know, COVID has been good for a reset, but we will also have some difficult days. Let's proact and find the solutions before the problems. Ellie, thank you very much for being with us. Now I will move to Nigeria Watson. She's representing YOUNGSHIP Panama. And Nigeria, you have the e-floor to present your association. Welcome.
Hi to everyone. My name is Nigeria Watson. I'm YOUNGSHIP Panama president, actually. I'm the Nautical Younger Council member representing Latin American region. YOUNGSHIP Panama was founded at the end of the 2018. After having attended at SIL Barcelona, we meet YOUNGSHIP Spain, and they speak to us about what is YOUNGSHIP International. So that's why we get to open YOUNGSHIP Panama here in Panama. At the first years, we signed agreement with WISTA Barcelona, ISMUC University, Escuela Europea, International Maritime University of Panama, Maritime Legal Consulting, GTC Panama Consulting, and the Nautical Student Boarding Program. We have attended national activity like Commerce Week at the ISMUS University, the Academic Journey and Logistics at the International Polytechnic University, Sailor Week Fair at the ISMUS University, Maritime Radio Program, Logistics, and Port Fair. YOUNGSHIP Panama, we have involved in international activity like the Blue Logistics and Startup in Barcelona, the conference at the Barcelona, at the EAPH World Port Conference in Guangzhou, China, 2018, and we be part of the meeting of the General American Isthmus Replica in Guatemala. The aim, YOUNGSHIP Panama, they have two aims. The first aim was to enrich human knowledge and understanding of the vital roles of maritime industry and commercial shipping in the economic, social, political, and cultural life of the global environment. Our second aim was to try YOUNGSHIP International be in all the countries from Latin America. And we think that we get the objective of we to win.
Okay, thank you very much, Nigeria. And we will also have the opportunity to speak more for many things for Panama later. At this point, I would like to welcome Gina Panayotou. It's all about shipping. Gina is presently in London, but she is also from Cyprus, and she's combining both roles. Gina, welcome.
It's amazing to be on the show. And I think the first thing that we have to say is congratulations, Danai, for finally bringing all these associations together. I think it's just a great initiative, and generally for all of the work that you've been doing for the young people of shipping. I wish there were more people like you around. So it's all about shipping. Obviously, it's not an association like the rest. It has a little bit of a different concept. So what we do, when I initially joined the industry in 2016, the two answers that I would hear when I said I worked in shipping were either, so what exactly do you do? Or, oh yeah, you get paid well. So I thought that it was about time that we started, especially inspiring the younger generation to understand how important this industry is. So it was a concept founded as a radio show that would interview guests from the industry. So more like a storytelling, where executives and other people working in the industry would share their experiences, how they got there, what they find most challenging, and just generally raise awareness of what exactly we do and how you can come into this industry, what it has to offer. So that's basically it on the show. And I think actually probably Danai with her first guest forum back in 2016 was a great inspiration for that. So yeah, we're available on all social media channels. And even though it started as a radio show back in Cyprus as a community radio show, it's now gone live as a broadcast, and we have different panels discussing various issues.
This is the magic, the magic thing of technology that has helped us because of COVID. And let's not forget that today, we did not know before organizing it, but it's the International Day of Environment. So I think that we also prove that we will have Brigitte Dioden saying to us a little bit about protecting the oceans later, not now. But it's also important that we combine these two important global days for me. So it's good that it's happening. I'm passing the microphone. We're doing it like a radio show, Jimmy. You see, you will help us if we're not doing something right. Mark Ma, he's representing the YOUNGSHIP Singapore. Mark, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to all. This is Mark from YOUNGSHIP Singapore, and I'm lucky that we already have two other friends from the other YOUNGSHIP branches already introduced. So similar to the other YOUNGSHIP branches, we are a non-profit organization promoting the knowledge sharing and also networking in the local shipping community. That Singapore is a unique shipping city. I would doubt that any of you are coming from a smaller country in the terms of the land size, yet Singapore stands out as one of the top shipping nations in the world. With a size of about 720 square kilometers, Singapore maritime industry has more than 5,000 companies and employs more than 170,000 people, which is also a #2 container port in the world after Shanghai. And in Singapore, we are lucky to have a good mixture of people from different parts of the world, that we pride ourselves as the bridge from the overseas to the Singapore shipping community. And quite often when a new joiner comes to Singapore shipping, they always come to the YOUNGSHIP party to find other friends in the same industry. And also we pride ourselves as a bridge from the students to the local shipping industry, that we always engage the students and we work closely with the two universities offer the shipping courses in Singapore to promote our young talents into the shipping industry. That in YOUNGSHIP Singapore, we currently have the outreach of about 1,000 members as professionals, and also we have more than 300 shipping students. We welcome you to join our events in Singapore, and also we are happy to get in touch if you want to be in touch with the Singapore shipping community. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. We will now go. Can you please stop the sharing screen in order to see all of us, Mark? And we will pass the floor to Nelly Elder. Nelly is representing the YOUNGSHIP Texas. Welcome, Nelly.
Good morning, everyone. YOUNGSHIP Texas is much like everybody else. We primarily started with our networking events very loose. Kind of, since we're so big, most of our events are more of a cocktail pass-through, focused on networking. The exception to us, since we were founded, and we're still pretty young, since 2015, the exception for us is that we try to appeal to all across the shipping board. A lot of our groups in the area are focused only maybe possibly on tankers or dry bulk. What we offer our membership is that you can come together and collect and talk about all sides of the shipping, expose each other to everything. So some of us only know dirty shipping and some of us only know clean. We have also offered a lecture series starting as of this year so that we can expand the knowledge and the horizons of our members. Much like China, we do have a couple of our Young at Heart members. And we definitely, open arms, utilize that. We're one of the few groups that put in one room interns, new students that have just graduated with some of the vice presidents, presidents, and level the playing field. Very casual, let's talk, let's get to know and impact that new generation. We don't get to grow if we're not all talking to each other. We have also joined forces with other groups, WGMA and WISTA, to draw on a lot of their histories and appeals, because while we are young in shipping, we definitely don't want to limit that. The biggest and best thing about our organization is we're really trying to include and push to that next generation so that we're not losing any knowledge. And that's pretty much what Texas is focusing on and pushing forward with.
Great, thank you very much. This is I think very important. We see that more or less most of our organizations have been created the last decade. I mean from 2010 and after. So there was a need of the voices of the young people to be heard. So I think that we have all created the strategy, and now it's important to bring this voice outside United. So I think that this is going to be the project of the next decade, to have a united voice. Now I would like to welcome YOUNGSHIP Turkey and Dr. Sinem Orgis, that she has helped a lot, also as many of you, to bring more organizations. And it is great to have her in this big family. So Sinem, welcome.
Thank you actually for this initiative. It's really a pleasure for me to be part of this forum. YOUNGSHIP Turkey actually was established also newly. It's established in 2018 and mainly aimed to network well-trained professionals under age 40 in the maritime and closely maritime related sectors, working in highly competitive corporate entities, and integrate them into actually YOUNGSHIP global organization. And this networking and integration have crucial role in the development of the maritime industry in Turkey. And in Turkey, by law, it's compulsory to have 10 board members and 6 supervisory board members. So total, we are 16 people in our team. And actually, it's not a team where a group of people are working together, but a team, that group of people trusting each other. And as YOUNGSHIP aims to gather all people who are working in the maritime industry, we wanted to create a group where each member belongs to different maritime angles. So in our group, we have shipbrokers, lawyers, insurers, mariners, captains, so that we can share our knowledge between each other and catch the attention of all the other members. Even though we signed a license agreement with YOUNGSHIP International in 2018, it took some time to establish legally the organization in Turkey because of too many bureaucratic procedures, as you can imagine. And the legal process actually had completed in August 2019. And later on, we started to organize seminars and our networking events. And the first event that we organized were mainly for networking dinners to introduce each other and explaining to people what YOUNGSHIP is and what our aims are. And in fact, I mean, such a short time, we were successful together, 30 people in our association. And in November 2019, we had our first conference, which was actually a great success. It was about the future of shipping. We had almost 150 people joining the conference, and we had 5 sponsors supporting the event. Actually, we were all impressed to receive such an interest, and we had more hope for the future of our organization, because if in such a short time we managed to have a really efficient conference, we might have, and we believe we definitely will have much bigger ones in the future. And we believe this is actually thanks to being part of YOUNGSHIP International family. And in fact, YOUNGSHIP takes an active role to help promote young leaders of the future and encourage companies to go to the extra mile in training and focusing on promoting young professionals and to drive forward its young talent. And before ending my presentation, I also would like to mention our motto that we're using in YOUNGSHIP Turkey, which is "Together is better." So why we're using this motto, I would like to shortly explain. You know what they say, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we believe cooperation among each other is one of the key elements of success. Working together towards a common goal instead of competing for personal glory, we think leads to greater achievements. Working together by sharing experience and ideas, instead of keeping them for ourselves, can bring definitely better results for all persons involved. So honestly, we can't do it alone, and we should stop pretending that we can. Having people with different skills, with different nations, with different levels of experience and abilities working together doesn't only mean that we will work better and faster, but also allows us sharing our knowledge between each other and growing together and improving our abilities. So that's to say, we learn from one another's experience and we keep improving and we keep actually discovering new ways of doing things. And in particular, during this pandemic, it's of the essence to act together and embrace one another. And in fact, this forum is one of the best ways to show us that regardless of our race or age or gender or beliefs or nationality, we need to stick each other. And actually, this is a proof that better is really together. Thank you.
Yes, of course, we agree. And better and equal. In this group, I think that we have more than the equal. I mean, we're keeping a balance in everything. Thank you very much, Len.
Thank you too.
I would like to go to the other smiling girl of the team. It's Maria Laura from Venezuela. She's representing YOUNGSHIP Venezuela. Maria, welcome.
Hi, Danae. Thanks for the introduction. First of all, I want to say thanks to the YES Forum team for putting all of us together, YOUNGSHIP International and YOUNGSHIP Cyprus for making this possible. Well, the YOUNGSHIP Venezuela chapter has been recently founded, only 5 months ago, and it started in the middle of difficult times for all of us. We thought that we were going to be pushing like pause button, but instead of that, time has brought us amazing results because we have had a non-stop job. So for us, the what now will be to implement and develop all the projects in which we have been working during this period of time. Warning, this is a sneak peek, necessary sneak peek for our members and our future members. We strongly believe that knowledge from the national universities in order to give our members the possibility of getting scholarships for MBAs, postgraduate and training courses in maritime industry. Because we need people in constant growth and we need to support that. And well, this will be announced very soon. We have also started the creation of a project that involves international companies in order to support and locate internships for our Venezuelan cadets. We had also advanced conversations to perform agreements with companies in order to give the opportunity to young professional talents to start developing their careers. It's important to say that here in Venezuela, YOUNGSHIP is the first association established related to young people in maritime industry. So, well, will be a great space to give opportunities to young people. And last but not least, during this short period and taking a positive advantage of technology, we have had also the possibility to build up new professional and personal relations with people across the globe, especially with YOUNGSHIP Network. And these relations in which we have already started running projects and new things, this will hopefully bring more positive outcome.
Great, thank you very much, Maria. Now we go to the lady that has to do with this International Day, not the Global YOUNGSHIP Forum. She can combine many titles. Brigitte Joden. I can tell you that from all of you, I think that Brigitte is the one that I know the most of the years. We were sharing many times ideas that we have. She was next to us in the first Young Executive Shipping Forum back in 2016, although it was in Greek and although she was not understanding anything. I think that she was the only one from abroad that was saying, Brigitte, it's in Greek, never mind. I want to feel the positive vibes. So I think, Brigitte, that today we have plenty of positive vibes, and it was great what's happening all these years, discussing about empowering young people, about protecting environment, and now we have all the great opportunity of making it happen. So Brigitte Joden, I don't want to say more about you because you have huge CV. You have done many projects. For sure, you represent the women in shipping, you represent the young people in shipping, and now, of course, the ocean projects. So welcome, Brigitte, and it's great to have you here.
Yeah. And Danai, I just have to say, both to you and to everybody else here, I get so emotional seeing you guys on the screen. I think this was my dream back in 2011 when I quit my job in Wilhelmsen as global project manager to start YoungShip International. And bring the Norwegian organization out to the world. That was my dream, to really create this global unity of young, engaged people sharing the same values and mindset, where we had this opportunity of bringing equality and diversity and entrepreneurship, openness and the collaboration mode into our industry, and really to create a change from within the industry through the young generation. That was really my dream back then. I never thought it would lead to this. And I have been, I think, visiting most of the organizations up through the years. Back in, both with SPNL and YSP was established by people who had visited YoungShip and then came back to their cities and establishing a sister organization. And with the original founders, I remember many years ago, we signed the first MOUs where we established this mindset of instead of competing between the different organizations, instead we sat down and we thought about how can we actually collaborate? How can we be smarter and better than the older generations? How can we instead look at, for all of us, we want the same thing. We want the young generation to be heard. We want to change the industry. We want to be part of a more visible, innovative, dynamic, and sustainability-oriented industry where equality is a core. So then how can we work together from the grassroots to really cement that kind of, really create a wave, really. And I think, Danai, today you are bringing together this wave, and it is amazing. I think with people from all over the world, and even like Dr. Sinem, I don't really know you, but all the way from Turkey, you speak my values, you speak my soul and my heart. And I think that reflects, from all of you speaking, it doesn't matter where we sit, it doesn't matter our, color, religion, our nationality, whatever. We are the same. And I think this is so amazing with our generation and the younger generations to come, is that we are growing up in a globalized society with social media, and where we can actually connect to very different people. And then we can look at some of the world's biggest problems, and then we can start creating solutions and new opportunities with a borderless mindset. And we haven't officially launched it yet, but I want to pre-announce it today. The past year, I have dedicated to create another resource for the young generation. So I started again as an entrepreneur last year, establishing the Ocean Opportunity Lab. And the Ocean Opportunity Lab is a toolbox for the young maritime professional network. So this summer, we are piloting the beta version of a Tinder for ocean innovators and ocean entrepreneurs, where young innovators and entrepreneurs, they can use the platform for finding resources that they need, or request for resources that they need to realize their initiatives and potentials, and bridging them up with the established ecosystem. And then on the other hand, the established industries, they can use the platform for bringing out unresolved problems, where they want the young people to come in and use their energy and motivation to create the new solutions. And we have an ambition of, we are creating this on a pay it forward mentality. So where most of the technical platforms are built to maximize profit, our platform is built to maximize the power of change agents. So it will come. It is actually already, it is out there, and I will send it to you later. but it is really all about going from where we started back from when I started in YOUNGSHIP 2006, and creating this human ecosystem, and now we want to bring more resources to the human ecosystem. So I think
although you're doing all these startups in your life, okay, in startup we know what it is, it's technology startup, but I mean the startups or reset in your life, you are still very emotional. So it's you do not you cannot keep your emotions when
no. And I think also that's an important part, is just to keep, I think that when I entered shipping, it was much more like masculine dominated. I want to also bring in the feminine and the more, you know, unconventional approach. And I think it is so important that we build an industry where there is room for the entire human being.
When you're really loving what you're doing, I think that nothing stops you.
No.
Sometimes we have some stereotypes and we follow them in our lives. I think that all of us here, we do not follow the stereotypes and we always want the change. So Brigitte, it's great to have you with us. And now I will pass the microphone to Murat Akar. He's from Dubai and he will also speak a little bit about his actions. Murat, welcome.
Yeah, hello, good morning, good evening, everyone else. I'm actually together with the YOUNGSHIP Turkey, but I just live in Dubai, so I just wanted to participate. Thank you very much that you have given me this opportunity. We have lots of things to talk in the future, but I definitely agree that we can do better all together. And this to see young people on board and on shore, it's just very, very nice. And I just believe in that we can just change something altogether. Then definitely we are going to change it. And the world is changing. And after these recent issues, this I don't want to mention its name, but definitely everything is going to be better. I can assure you that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Murat, for having you with us. At this point, I will also go to our house, to Yes Forum, because it's also nice to make a short presentation of what we're doing. So, Evalthia, the floor is yours. Just to unmute. No.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, of course.
Thank you all of you for being here. Welcome in Greece, from one way. So Yes Forum is a platform of open dialogue in the Greek shipping and sea tourism industries among university students, recent graduates, and young executives. All of our actions are taking place under the auspices of the ministries of shipping, education, tourism, the majority of Greek universities, and the merchant marine academies. Our mission is to create the next generation of shipping.
Okay. So because I thought that went to the second page. Okay, sorry.
No problem. Our mission is to create the next generation of shipping in Greece by passing the experience that the current generation has and our shipping history. We want to convince the Greek women and men to stay in Greece and take these opportunities. Our logo is inspired by the Greek flag, which means yes, from Charlie. Here are all the organizations that we have their support. You can see some of our main actions: Yes to Shipping Forum, Yes to Sea Tourism Forum, volunteerism workshops, and many other initiatives. We are 70 volunteers, 60% of which are women and 40% are men. We have more than 10,000 participants in our events, 1,000 questions, and 500,000 people reached through our social media. Some of our projects are, as I told you, Yes to Shipping Forum. We have many personalities that we have hosted them as speakers. We have visited more than 20 companies having an open day and explaining us what they are doing. We are visiting schools in their career days, explaining to the younger generation what they can do in the shipping industry on board and ashore. And for 2020, we have collaboration with other organizations like we're doing here. Many projects like Yes Paper, Good News, Yes Forum Buddies. Yes to Shipping Forum 2020 will take place in 30th of October, as it cannot be today, it couldn't be today. And we have 80 members of the shipping and tourism industry that are supporting us and giving us feedback on our actions. Marifine is supporting us. Here you can see some of our supporters, sponsors, communication supporters as well. And here you can see some of the actions that we did while we were in the quarantine, when we started this initiative as well. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will start now the round 2 because Tomoki Takimoto, that is representing Japan, he will make a presentation about the gap of maritime business policy and the maritime measures about COVID-19. We don't like in general to say the bad points of COVID, but it's very important to present this research and what we're doing next. So Tomoki, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So thank you for giving this time opportunities. So in Japan, there is not so young maritime professionals organizations. It's not yet. So we prepare for the build new networks. So I'm working for working for maritime consultants, but my major is a maritime sociologist. So maritime sector is a very wide industries, but there's not so. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, of course, we hear you, yes.
Okay, so now, there is not so professional networks, so it's big problems. So now we are preparing for building up YOUNGSHIP Japan's. Our network made up of young professionals by legals, MET, and institutes. So this time, COVID damage to Japan's maritime sectors. So this damage is, we are focusing human resources. And so this time, we are focusing this middle-term human resources. This time, maritime students pending the schools and training, about under 30,000 students is pending it. Also, this problem affect to maritime in many industries and seafarers because human resource providing late. So also, more young people, young teens can't educate for maritimes. And this in maritime, Japan maritime industry has a time for presentation to young people, but this time it's broken. So we are focusing. If we can build the YOUNGSHIP Japan, we are focusing 3 ideas. First is a promotion and branding for maritime, and collaboration maritime industry and educations, and startup support, because maritime legal is a very difficult systems. So it's very cheap presentation, very solid. So thank you tonight.
Thank you very much, Tomoki, for being with us. It's very important also to have Japan. And now we will go to the round of the questions. We have some of the audience, but we will start with our questions, and then we will go also with the audience. And we will start again with YOUNGSHIP Cyprus and Fotini. And Fotini will reply to the question of what is the importance of having a mentor? Is it effective, and how do you structure a successful relationship?
Hi, Danai, thank you. So our organization really believes on that concept, and we have tried to do it in the past, and we have it as a strategic priority for next year. We hold the belief that everyone needs a mentor, irrelevant of their age and their status. A mentor can be a former boss, a teacher, or any kind of professional. I wouldn't advise that to be your current boss or a really good friend, as sometimes the emotional part can cloud the feedback that he can give you. But before approaching someone to be your mentor, try to reflect and understand your weakness and strengths. I would advise to pick someone you trust that will help you acknowledge the need to reassess and rebuild your own path at critical moments. Ask yourself, can this person be open and honest? What kind of energy am I receiving? That person will help you establish your own structure of a lifelong personal development. He can offer encouragement, but not a how-to advice. He can help you see the destination, but does not give you a detailed map to get there. He will improve your communicational skills through having a genuine conversation. He will challenge you to think through issues by sometimes asking some difficult to answer questions, and he can put you on the spot. But generally, he can serve as a source of wisdom when needed. So the tips that I would give is practice your skills as a good listener. Take what you can and leave the rest if it's not for you. Don't be afraid to ask for critique. Be as transparent as possible. Focus on being coachable and open to hearing feedback, whether it's positive or not. And brainstorm together ways that you can thrive. Make it your aim to maximize the experience by always showing gratitude and respect. Don't forget that the mentor is investing his time to help you. So you must also participate and actively pursue learning. So make sure you're up to date, you're reading the news, and you have a general global awareness of the market industry. So a mentor, remember that the purpose is not to serve as a coach. He does not function as an advocate for your company or your organization, and he does not serve as a counselor or any kind of therapist. He can make a real difference in your career and life, but always remember to come to this relationship with some realistic expectations and be willing to work hard. The impacts of the guidance, you might not feel it in some years to come, but you will realize the positive impact over the time as you go by, and hopefully you become a mentor yourself. So the question is, what can we do about it? So we as youth leaders and youth organizations globally, I think we should try to support this initiative and try to help our members that really believe that having a mentor is helpful. How can we do it? I think we should try to discuss this more with our stakeholders and several organizations such as Vista and ICS in order to build this concept and make it successful. I think it's a win-win situation for both, and the outcome should be to build a positive future for our industry and our oceans. That's it for me.
Yes, of course, we fully agree. Mentoring, there's going to be a big change of generation. It's already happening, but in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, I think that many things will change, not only in shipping, worldwide. So it's very important to get the knowledge of the previous generations. And of course, shipping was always a brainstorming kind of. I mean, you never know everything. You learn every day. So mentoring can help a lot to put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, all the missing pieces of the puzzle. I totally agree.
Exactly. So for the leaders, of course, mentoring, and why not also mentoring between us? Why not between the countries? So this is a great opportunity to exchange. You know, this crisis is bringing, you know, the globalization is becoming more introvert. Will bring more introvert policies, and it's important to keep it global, to act local, but to think global. So it's great to do mentoring between us in order to have the global way of thinking. And shipping will never stop to be global. So this is our future. We love shipping and we like to be there. Thank you, Fatimi. Sumit from India will speak about with this digital transformation. You know, a lot of let's say words and comments about what will happen, because we have seen it happening very, very quickly. So let's hear from you and your presentation what's happening.
Yes, Dane, can you see the screen? Is the screen visible to everyone?
It is allowed. You can share.
I have shared the screen. No, I'll just put it. Okay, hold on.
No, we're not seeing it. Never mind. The live events, even if we were great. Now it's screen sharing. We're now live. Okay. Yes, we can see this. Great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dane. So we are living in the age of digital transformation. The world has become a hub of, you know, a global hub of information. And I think the way we consume this information has changed exponentially. So that's the biggest change that today and the advantage that today the youth has over our generation. In this slide, I have demonstrated the evolution of technology over the past 3 decades, and basically how, you know, the way we interact with the world has changed, how it has changed in terms of, you know, education, business, socializing, shopping, and so many other areas. So technology has evolved over in a very short span. And in a world where, you know, everything is connected through technology, where things are moving so fast, and, you know, where performance is reaching perfection, my advice to the youth is that the only space left to innovate is that, you know, you innovate yourself. That's the only space left, that, you know, you are the area that innovation should begin. So the youth is today at a center stage of change, which is fueled by digitalization. The skills that they will need in the coming years for their jobs will be very dramatically different from what we needed 20 years ago. So this is the challenge that lies, I think, ahead of all the youth, is that you know, they exist in the most transformational times in human history, and in this time they need to find new opportunities for themselves and keep themselves relevant. So that is one of the biggest challenges that is there for them. And so as you can see, we live in the world of big data, where, you know, computing fuels big data, which fuels Internet of Things, which fuels artificial intelligence, and thereby that leads to the advent of robotics. But we mustn't forget one thing. I strongly believe, and I very strongly feel that the demand for humanistic traits, even in this environment, will go up. You know, things like traits like creativity, innovation, intuition, ethics, emotions. I think the demand for these will go up. The reason being that, you know, machines are good at simulating, but they are not good at being. And these traits will become, the human traits, along with you know, automation, will become very valuable. So yes, you know, technology, software will simplify a lot of our work. It already is doing that. but it will also allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. And the youth has to think of skills along with automation. What are the skills that which are non-automated, which they need to work on, which they need to build on? And this is a combination of technology, automation, and the non-automated humanistic skills, which I think will lead to a well-rounded personality and will help them succeed in their job. So again, my advice to the younger generation is that, immerse yourself in the immediate future, which is 5 to 7 years, from today, because it's changing very quickly. And it's humanity is where the true and lasting value is created. This is, again, I'm very strongly emphasizing, because as people, as human beings, we will engage in and buy things because of the experience, the emotions that those things deliver, and because and that emotion is what has the transformative power. So the human element is critical and cannot be ignored. Lastly, I want to talk about the startup ecosystem, which the youth has access to, which we 20 years ago, I did not have access to this. This is an environment that is, buzzing with hungry entrepreneurs, hugely funded startups. Here, I want to very proudly say that India is one of the fastest growing startup nations in the world. We have Flipkart, we have companies like Zomato, Quicker, who have now become global success stories. They are not national success stories. And so this is an ecosystem where there is mentoring, there is access to capital, there are accelerator programs, there is incubators, and this is something that was missing in my days of youth and when I was growing up and when I had started working. So I believe that the youth should leverage this this and should really take it. It's up to them how they leverage it, how they take advantage of it, and move up with the help of this environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sumit. And from the digital transformation of Sumit, we will pass to Tabitha, because Tabitha will tell us, I fully agree, that the human beings, the human contact, we're all missing the human contact. And Tabitha will tell us how to network while social distancing. We're hearing you. Yes, we're hearing you.
Share my screen. All right. Play that. Right. Okay. Well, yep. I'm here just to talk a little bit about the importance of a network and also networking while social distancing. So why is a network so crucial? Well, whether you love it or hate it, and I think about 75% of people when they're polled say they hate it, networking is really crucial to obviously looking for job opportunities and job hunting. But it's not the only reason why it's important to have a network. Having a business network can also really help in terms of career growth and advancement. If you've got your eye on a promotion at work, knowing the right person that you need to be getting in front of or spending time with to sort of enhance your career is really important. And depending what role you have, you may be able to find clients or service providers through it. And what I found really invaluable in the shipping industry is obviously market knowledge and commercial opportunities. Talking to other shipping companies, how are you coping with the market? How are you coping in COVID? Have you faced this challenge before? Sharing market knowledge through your network is very important as well. And obviously we've touched on mentorship and advice. So sort of traditional networking in the sense, at least in Hong Kong anyway, always used to be, the usual methods, sort of LinkedIn connections, sharing business cards. I think in Hong Kong, you will not be remembered if you do not have a business card. It just becomes every meeting you have to present one. And then seminars and business trips and sort of business events. But obviously, since we've had COVID in our midst, things have changed. So I wanted to talk a little bit about opportunities that you can have to network when you're social distancing. I think now more than ever, the focus has to be on what you can offer or how you can be of service right now. So take a good look at your skill sets. What skills do you possess that might be useful to other people? For example, can you do graphic designing? Are you particularly tech savvy? Do you have language translation skills? Or perhaps you're very good with financial numbers or something like that. What skills can you offer your network that will get you a connection there, and in turn people will return the favor? And also other ways that you can be of service is perhaps sharing other people's events online. So if someone you know is hosting an event or a webinar, share that by social media or attend that event, and you can give them feedback. I think now, while we've got more time on our hands as well, it's a good opportunity to reach out to sort of old acquaintances, people you haven't spoken to for a while. The perfect time, everyone's sat at home or stuck at home, pick up the phone, give them a ring, see how they're doing, and you never know where that conversation might lead in terms of job opportunities or market knowledge. As I think was mentioned a bit earlier, there are a lot of networking events that are online now. So take a look at all the organizations' websites, whether it's organizations like ourselves or BIMCO or Baltic Exchange. A lot of people are hosting networking events which you can join, and it's a good opportunity to perfect your elevator pitch. Another idea that people have been having, and we had, is host your own virtual happy hour. You can invite 1 or 2 people, and then perhaps you ask those people to then invite 1 or 2 people. And so, you create your own extended network through other people as well. You get together, have a drink, and have a chat and exchange ideas. It's also really important to look at your online presence. Is your LinkedIn up to date? Is everything sort of looking presentable? And perhaps you also want to start maybe thinking about your online presence in the terms of a blog. Are you good at writing? Can you start writing articles? LinkedIn posts are obviously another popular way where you can sort of write commentary to get yourself noticed. And then the final sort of things that I would say is always think about being a connector. Do you have people in your network that you can actually connect together? Can you help 2 people in your network out? Helping other people also makes you very, very memorable. And again, people always then think of you in terms of returning the favor. And then last but not least, now's a good time to sort of dust off all those business cards, keep your network, create a spreadsheet, put your network all together and keep it up to date. And just remember as well to keep notes while you're doing it. So for follow-up, remember if there are common interests that you may have that you can sort of use as an icebreaker the next time you give them a ring, and to stay memorable as well with them. And obviously, as I said, Zoom and everything else is fantastic during these times, but people really like the human connection, so picking up the phone is always a really good way to connect. So I will leave that anyway with you, but there are some do's and don'ts of what I think you should do in terms of networking, but we can always share this on the Facebook page later. So I think that's all from me for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're also starting having questions from the audience. We will see later, but I think that some of the questions and presentations you will do in the next few minutes, I think that they may reply to some of the questions, and then we will choose some others. Now we will. I will go to Wei Zhuang because he wants to tell us how do we ensure we stay attractive and attract talent to our industry, because there are similar questions from the audience, like what are the skills that somebody has to have in order to enter shipping. And I think that you may reply, because in order to attract talent, they must have also some, let's say, characteristics. So, Wei.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I don't have the answer for that broad question, but I just want to put forward and share it with you guys. Well, what I observed is the shipping industry, we are a little bit shy, or maybe it's not correct, but I would say we are not competent to be a good storyteller. That also makes the whole industry full of the challenge, in particular, how we can attract the smart talent to join our industry. with the recent developments of the ship industry, especially we're suffering. We kind of find more, talented seafarers who can work for our industry. And if we compare with the ship industry, more talents, they prefer to be the financier, lawyer, or more juicy the jobs. And if you look at the social media, that is the full plague of the whole industry, then you would not be surprised that whenever we start to hear about this kind of shipping related stories or reports, quite often just a negative, either the oil sprayed bloody picture on the TV, or either scope, for the seafarers just because an accident, or some kind of a collision to hit the bridge. And that's just to make myself just start thinking, and also I have heard a lot from my seniors and the other expertise, what kind of things we can do and how we can make our industry more, attractive. So I think especially the first point perhaps is part of the communication. That's the communication definitely rests on the shoulder of the young generation. If we could make the full advantage of social media, if we could, tell the good story and send a more positive message to the industry and try to take care of the maritime industry from the childhood, and then it makes the things change. For instance, IMO, of course, now is committed to make the good job for the greenhouse gas and also try to tackle environmental protection. But if you look at the other industry, for instance, the airline, to be honest, I think shipping industry is the greenest perhaps in the world as a transportation. And if you look at the contribution we have made, we have done an excellent job. But maybe the public will get the misconception, okay, whenever they come from the black, smoke from the teams, from the ship. So, yeah, this is something I would like to just make some kind of suggestion, from the young generation, we will be more brave, more bold, and not shy to tell the good stories and try to really make ourselves visible in a positive storyteller, and also make full advantage of the social media. And this is also something related to the solidarity of the whole industry, because that's the future. Again, as I said, I don't have the clear answer because quite a broader question. Just would like to share some views and thoughts with you guys. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Wei. And of course, we're not having the answers for all the questions, but it's always good to try to brainstorm and to find the solution. So at this point, I'm going to Maria from in London, and she will say about the technical roles in shipping. What opportunities are there starting or changing your career in this industry? Because we will see, they say that they were saying before COVID, it may change, that the new generation that they're being born now, they will change 6 to 8 jobs in their lives. So let's start discussing how easy it is to change our destiny, our job destiny, if we want to enter shipping. Maria.
Thank you, Dana. I actually think what you pointed out is very interesting, because the shipping industry is a very broad community, and it includes people from many different professions, but we all focus obviously on the shipping side. It is very often that I feel that we don't talk so much about the, I'll say, the technical roles that are in there, and I think we need to give a little bit more information to people that are coming out of universities with technical degrees like naval architects and marine engineers, because at the end of the day, they do form the core of the industry in a way by looking after the assets that are moving the shipping economy. So in my view, having a technical background actually can open many doors in many different aspects of the shipping industry. We have people traditionally graduating and thinking to join shipbuilders or ship designers, engine manufacturers, looking at internships or graduate training programs with classification societies, becoming surveyors to check compliance, for example, with flag states, and or joining ship owners, which is a very traditional, I would say, role for technical people to look after the ships. Then I would suggest the other role that is not so well known, going into the consultancies, which is the path that I followed in the beginning. And then you can do design analysis, look into marine claims and disputes. You see a very different aspect of the industry there. The point that I would like to make is that it is very important to form a solid technical background, and then you can actually look outside of these professions. You can look a little bit outside the box and see how you could apply your technical skills into, for example, I would say shipping finance, because you need the people with the technical knowledge to be able to evaluate what a good investment would be, into the insurance market, because again, you will need people that understand how ships are run. Then, of course, a very hot topic these days is all the new technologies that are being developed, data analysis, and how you can use that to come up with new ideas, and digitalization, and so on and so on, though it's been discussed here. I find that, especially for the young people that follow one path to enhance their education and knowledge into more on the technical side, it's important to keep in mind that that can be a first step. And then if you like something different, you can find, you need to think of how you can actually apply that skill set that you gained into a different part of the industry, and then approach people and give them your perspective on how you could become of value by providing a different angle into a team than comes from a completely different background. And myself making recently a bit of a change within the industry, going from the consultancy into the becoming a superintendent. I think it's a good example that you need to find people that will believe in you, that will hear you, and see that you can provide good value in something a little bit different. So yes, keep talking to people that you know in your network that are in technical positions, see how they got there, and shipping, really, I don't think there are any borders for people that want to move from one.
Because shipping is the shipping is the trading, the worldwide trading. 90% of the worldwide trading is being done with shipping, with vessels. So, and it's a huge cluster of services, and any kind of studies or of jobs can be combined with the shipping world. So yes, shipping can be a good opportunity for many young people to follow, but you need to have a strong stomach. You must not watch your watch. I mean, you have to understand that you're working 24/7, 366, because we say 365, but there are years that there is 366 days, like this year in 2020, we have 366 days. And this is, you know, the ones that we are in shipping, we are in love with shipping. This is, you know, the nature. And sometimes, yes, it may not be great when an emergency is happening Christmas Day, but on the other side, it gives us many great and different days. So thank you very much, Maria. Ellie from New York, who is the next generation of shipping professionals in New York?
Thank you, Danae. I really want to say that the presentations and questions so far from my fellow participants have been phenomenal, and I really appreciate the candor that everyone's bringing to this conversation. In the next professionals and as well, how do these professionals hear and speak their voices, I think is something that we need to touch on at least at one point. Certainly looking at Tabitha's presentation and how to network in a new age, and hearing Maria and Wei talk about the new generations of shipping and how to advance your career. I think what's important here is to talk about what to do currently. Given all of us are young professionals or young enough, and those that may be listening to the call, there are some key factors here that and skills that you need to be able to develop and understand how to speak about them, both to those in your network, but perhaps to your current employers. Something we really touched upon in the New York Shipping Professional Network is the resources that a young shipping professional needs to be able to advance their career and not be deterred by perhaps our siloed organizations or perhaps our siloed job flows. And what does that look like? So if we start with networking, from the base level of networking, yes, perhaps our networking that we're doing now we're able to do it on a free basis. Dare I say, not everyone is as fortunate to be able to go to a networking event, perhaps if there is a cost associated to go to a conference. And how do you have that then conversation with your current employer? Similarly, how do you get access to understanding this industry? There are many free resources and free media outlets online, and as we move into a more globalized world, there will be more free resources, but trade publications and access to those are really important for a young professional. So it's important to be able to talk to your employer about trying to get access to a Lloyd's List, to a Marine Money, certainly to a Tradewinds and other sort of key trade publications here to allow you to understand the industry from a different perspective. Moving forward, there are plenty of classes online these days. In this new globalized world we live in, even before the current crisis, there are plenty of ways in which you can develop your skills, both while at your current position or outside of work hours. As Danae said, you are expected to work on a 24/7 basis. Being able to develop your skills outside of the current work environment is just as important. So I really encourage people that are looking to develop those skills that you can't perhaps find currently, that you won't be able to find, the ability to, even as Tabitha said, to work on your social media presentation skills, or perhaps you do want to have a better understanding of financial knowledge that you aren't currently getting. There are classes and resources, and it's important for you to find them, but as well to talk to your employer about seeing if they will give you access to being able to pay for them. I think, very important here that, as we have these conversations, this is not only your future and your career, but it's your future in the industry and perhaps your future with your current organization. The industry is siloed. The industry is having issues attracting a younger generation, which I know we will continue to speak about. But how do you explain to your employer that you're in this for a long term? And I think that's something we have to discuss a lot in shipping, that many of us on this call who have been in this industry or have found themselves looking into this industry need to look a little bit more long-term. And how do you start today to have those conversations to become a career path and become a leader in the organizations moving forward? And then most importantly here, our voice is important. Thankfully, we have organizations like this to speak for our voices. But certainly as we move forward, the words climate change, the words diversity, and being able to move forward in a combined industry are just as important. Certainly, as many people know or have seen on the media, the situation in the United States right now is difficult. The active words that we need to continue to use are diversity and inclusion of both young professionals from all across diversity, both sexual diversity and racial diversity and religious diversity. This is something we don't have these conversations about on a global level, but it starts with a local level. And so I would find it unfortunate if I didn't mention those sort of idioms that we're dealing with now. And hopefully we can encourage more people to use them on a daily basis and join, of course, other organizations, certainly like our friends in WISTA, which I hope all of you are members, as I know I am a WISTA-MISTA and very proud to be so.
Let's be part of the change and of the dialogue. And I think that, yes, it's we're going to see a great change and a better future if we remain part of this dialogue. Thank you very much, Eli.
Thank you, Danae.
How young talent contributes to shipping, therefore? I mean, one question is replying to the other question, maybe. And strategies to fill the gaps and how to attract talent to shipping. Okay, more or less three different questions, but they have a common strategy. Gina.
No, I think we can bring that all together, and I think the most important evidence, rather, of how the young talent can contribute to shipping is what exactly we're doing now. So having an open dialogue and all this input and enthusiasm and passion from everybody is definitely something that the shipping industry needs to evolve going forward. And obviously, without young talent, you can't really sustain it. And I think Birgit has kind of combined the two things of the environment in sustaining the industry and the youth, and then following up on initiatives that I obviously putting this together. And I truly believe that the skill set that the younger generation has, for example, we're in a very social media age and everybody's used to being online. So there's actually studies that prove how our brains have changed to a more reactional mode. So for example, even from the single likes that we do on social media pages, that shows how the younger generations, millennial and younger, are adapting to a new reality, and they're able to bring this reactional kind of mode and finding solutions to this industry that is so traditional. Because obviously we've got the older generation that have amazing technical skills, but following on also on what Eli mentioned on being online and on this Lloyd's list and Tradewinds and everything, it's something that the younger generations are much more familiar with. So I think that's definitely the talent that they can bring, why we require this talent in the shipping industry and going forward. And also, of course, that new roles are developing. So taking, for example, this crisis of COVID, we all had to switch to a digital reality. And that also means that our networks and our IT support, for example, had to be much more advanced in respect to cyber attacks and keeping the networks of companies secure, which obviously the younger generation is something that is studying at university level, etc. So again, this is skills that we need. And now coming onto the strategy of how we fill these gaps, I'm a strong believer, as you know, and as you also support, and most of you here, of branding this industry better and raising awareness so people know exactly what we do. I mean, it's an industry that is responsible for 90% of world trade. So we have to make sure that it sustains in the future. And the most important thing, I believe, in filling this gap are role models like you, and I know Sanjam, she's not joining today, but she's there, and Birgit, who really, you know, inspire the younger generation and can see the future there and the potential that can be done.
I think that from the top 10 of shipping, we have in this dialogue, I think maybe 7 or 8 countries of the top 10. So yes, we can make it happen with the younger generation. Thank you very much, Gina. Mark from Singapore, how is the experience to work in shipping industry in Singapore?
Hi, Danny. Thank you for the question. And since YOUNGSHIP Singapore is a party for the newcomers to go to when they first join the Singapore shipping industry, we get this question quite often, and it's a pleasure sharing with our participants here. So for working in the shipping industry in Singapore, I think first of all, there are plenty of things to do. I can say that there's no single week in Singapore that is without a shipping party. And if you can think of one, we can, from Singapore, YOUNGSHIP Singapore, we can make a party for you in that week. So far, I can't remember any. And if you go to any hotel, 5-star hotel, and you go to the ballroom, you're probably crashing a shipping party. From YOUNGSHIP Singapore, we organize different activities such as networking events, outdoor sports activities, company visit, shipping quiz, Christmas dinner, and we also promote Norwegian culture, Norwegian food here in Singapore to hold the Norwegian flag. And there are many other associations like Tabitha from YPSN. She has her very good friend Su Ying here in Singapore. They also have a YPSN that I think they have very good events here. We try to attend and also see other friends. Working in Singapore is also easy because similar to many other shipping centers in the world, I think the human talent cost is not low, especially for shipping, which is not a bad thing at all for us. But that also means that you are expected to perform. You are competing with talents from the global platform. It's busy, and Singapore, you're working hours ahead of Middle East, and maybe 7-8 hours ahead of Europe if you're doing commercial. Overtime is quite common. That's part of the job, I guess. In all parts of the world for shipping 24/7, that's granted. Also in Singapore, the need for travel, because you know the size of Singapore, and normally the shipping companies, they have their regional headquarters in Singapore, and you are expected to cover the whole region when you're working in Singapore, which I think is more of a plus for the job, that you have chances to go to places, to meet different people from different culture. You see a different part of the world, which is definitely attractiveness to the job. And of course, in Singapore for the shipping, lots of things to learn, because Singapore has the whole ecosystem for the shipping industry, that ranging from commercial, from operations, shipping finance, legal, technical service, class, just name it. I think Singapore has it all. That you are exposed to all the different aspects of shipping. You can have the chance to meet all the experts from different fields. So I would say, in short, working in Singapore, the shipping industry is busy, is fun, and also full of opportunities. And from YOUNGSHIP Singapore, we always welcome all friends from different parts of the world, from other YOUNGSHIP branches to come, and we will definitely help you to get linked up. Thank you.
We have 15 minutes left, but we may take another 5 minutes. We can be a little bit late, but because it's nice to reply also to some more questions. Nelly and YOUNGSHIP Texas, how Texas reacted to COVID-19?
Well, we reacted, we were kind of split. Some of us were proactive and understood that in our industry, it was going to make it to our shores regardless. There was really no insulation because we're international. Everybody is going to catch what was around the world, okay? So a lot of companies did put in extra protections, ordered additional PPE, started to create different policies for distance service. Lo and behold, of course, a month in, everybody was on the same page. We were forced to go online, digital. So even from customs, well, instead of going in person, they were accepting digital submissions. Ships protecting their own crew, minimalized contact, and asked themselves to go electronic. Everything from manifest to documentation. If it could be sent ahead, they were asking for it ahead of time. The terminals reacted a little differently. Of course, they went down to lockdown. The reality is that they knew people would be coming and going. It became a little bit more difficult to go into those terminals. They required extra documentation, and since it was being created kind of as needed, there was no standard form. So if I wanted to go to ITC, if I wanted to go to ODFL, then more than likely I was filling out a new form for my guys to go in and do some work. For agents to keep up with that became a big problem. The form that you might have used yesterday was not the form you would use today. The agents did as best as they could, but there were little pauses in service here and there. We had a couple of terminals close. And when you're as big as the Port of Houston, one terminal closing for any amount of time sends a knee-jerk reaction. And so everybody's pausing, waiting on what you will do. A lot of the terminals, Coast Guards, in every member in the shipping industry weighed in. We went to digital platforms that were sometimes daily, if not weekly, to kind of say, what were you doing, and try to get us all on one path. I think that it worked out pretty well. We did not see any major interruptions for a port of our size. And we're talking about Houston, Texas City, Galveston. We have so many different areas that amazingly worked well together, even though we were very individualized. You know, most of us are essentials. I mean, the population here is in one way in shipping or the plants that feed into each other. So things continue to move. Supplies did kind of get rerouted. And some companies who'd had extra things that we normally had on supply did, you know, drives. Do you have any extra masks? Can you give them to others? Do you have any extra cleaning supplies? While we kind of caught up. We also helped with helping other people's supply chains. You know, some of the smaller companies don't have the connections that the bigger ones do. And so we kind of filled those voids of, hey, you know, we're not all in the office. Let me help you out. Let me make that call for you. I know for a fact that some of us in YoungShip and other abilities and capacities started going to Zoom, so that, you know, what Tabitha said, reach out, help somebody who maybe they just got in the industry, or maybe it's a small company. We're trying to keep them afloat, and we realize those are resources or services needed. They're just out of sight, out of mind. So a lot of the area kind of came together, and I think that Texas did very well. We responded like it was another storm. Business as usual, pick up where you get up and just fit right in.
I will grab then the opportunity of what you said, and I will pass to Sinem to tell us that is it necessary to be part of an organization?
I think it helped to be part of an organization. And I think that with all of our organizations, because there's many here working together, it kept a lot of those in the shipping industry in the know. There wasn't a void of information. So if you regularly dealt with Coast Guard, but some people didn't, it fed down. And we were able to impact a lot of the policies that were coming up. I know for one, I sat with Coast Guard and said, hey, the reality is that services are going to be needed regardless. We've got to adjust that maybe we don't have the paperwork right then and there. People can't be afraid to get a service if they thought maybe a fine will come. They need both, but we don't know how to protect our people and get this all streamlined. So there was a little lag, and we worked with the Coast Guard to say, hey, we can get the paperwork in 36 hours, not 12. Is that acceptable? And they were on board. So I think we do need organizations, and especially to deal with the big changes. It just makes it a lot easier to have more voices, but just working all in one.
Yeah. And Sinem from Turkey, you believe the same?
Yes, I mean, I think the same, because whether you're interested in strengthening your network or furthering your career, I think being a part of an organization can be a great option for each of us. Also, in addition to providing information about your chosen field, organizations can enhance actually your professional and personal development and provide endless networking opportunities. I mean, as I said previously, as YoungShip Turkey, we provide seminars, conferences, to keep ourselves and our members up to date on the latest industry innovations, I mean, research and trends. So staying informed on your industry's trends will actually definitely help you in the long run and will put you one step ahead of the competition. And I mean, I also believe that listing your association membership on your resume is impressive to your current, but as well as your future employees, as it shows that you're dedicated to stay connected in your profession. I mean, if you're a shipbroker, let's say, if in your resume, if you're showing that you're actively present in a maritime organization, for example, like YOUNGSHIP Turkey, which, as I said, is a part of an international community. So it will definitely, in the eyes of an employer, be a plus. And lastly, we live in a day and age where establishing a presence in any given career field often demands working long hours in the office and also bringing work home when the doors close. And at the end of the day, you may have ideas for cultivating partnerships, not feel up to shouldering all responsibility to organize them. And in an organization, actually, like what we're actually doing right now, you have access to an established support system of experienced people who are motivated to get things done. And for instance, currently now we're organizing together with YOUNGSHIP Venezuela and France an event together. So just, I mean, all you need to do is at the end to be volunteer and to take part of an organization, and then somehow the battle is half won. So I would say I definitely would recommend and believe it's essential to join an organization which reflects your specialization.
It's only 5 minutes left and I have 4 more people to speak, and then of course we will do the closing remarks. So as it's happening also live, let's take 5-10 minutes more from the internet. I don't think that Facebook will close our connection because it's a discussion, and we will definitely have a round 2, but we will see what we will do. But the very important thing is that until now we have reached 3,500 people that have been connected, and you know, how can we say in the social media that they're going in and
they
out.
have been reached
exactly, and we have around 800 people until now that they have entered to see live our discussion. So it means that we have definitely to have a round 2 before going to some more projects. Of course, we will not stop it. At this point, before going to Venezuela and to Brigitte, I would like from Murat to tell us, because it's very important, we have not heard a lot of this, what are the pros and cons of being on board for young people? Because we have not discussed, if we discuss about all the chances for the young people, we need more than 3 days to be connected. It's important to listen to this. So Murat.
Well, actually, I don't know where to start, but with the new generation, definitely it's not going to be very easy, because new generation is just very, very much connected online. So they will be feeling maybe alone. They will be feeling desperate. They would like to just hang out with their friends more. They would like to. They will just want to be online. That will be maybe the disadvantage for the young people. And when they step on board, most probably they will be stepping around the age of 18. So after 6 months, let's say their long-term training, they will be definitely a different person. First of all, they will be having a huge experience. They will feel that they will grow up very fastly. I don't know if this is an advantage or disadvantage, but I can just tell you, because I just remember 2 years of my junior, I was on board like a 3rd engineer, and he has come as a junior to my vessel. So I remember first day he was just shaking. He was just shaking. And then after 4 months after the contract, he was a very well confident seafarer who knows what to do and who knows what is the marine business. So maybe I was the same. I was not aware of that one. But the thing is, I could observe. I could observe the people. They're just growing. Like, okay, I'm not very old. I can say maybe my brother or my sister, because so the female attendance on board is very, very much right now. Even in our fleet, we have some female captains and the female engineers, so which is very, very good. We are very good actually.
Great. Mrs. Venezuela, what's going on in Venezuela? How to empower young people in maritime industry?
Well, then I think that first of all, giving power to young people means give them the opportunity about taking decisions that have impact in their lives. The key for participation and youth empowerment is access. In our specific case, YOUNGSHIP is a platform able to give voice to young people. And we think that should be through the following things. First of all, giving them spaces or a seat at the table. It will be a space in which they are able to share their thoughts, opinions, recommendations, and contribute with the solving of problems that we may be facing in shipping industry. Besides to giving them the opportunity to fill up decision-making positions. Another aspect to be considered is the psychosocial power and giving them access to information, knowledge, and awareness about the power and also the responsibility that brings to individual and collective leadership. In order to achieve this here in Venezuela, we are developing an active network of contacts on the areas related to the shipping industry in order to promote the increasing of young people in executive positions. And till now, I think that this could be a formula that could be changing through the time, but in the meantime, it will be possible. You can like move people, telling them, okay, we are doing this for you and we are giving you this space. Do you want to fill this up? And they may feel good with that.
Okay, so it's, of course, you always feel good about. I will now pass to Brigitte. Of course, you can say what you're thinking, because I'm sure that you are having many thoughts that you would like to express, but I would like also to tell us, because there are many questions from the audience, we will have a second round, but working from home, you are working from home, or even from a boat, or even on board, you have done everything. Although you have two great little monkeys in the house, you have managed to have family, to go on board, to work from a boat, to work from home, to work from office. So what's going on with this crisis? Is it really a crisis, or we have to stop being so stubborn and start thinking a little bit more open-minded?
I think we can think a lot outside the box for the young generation. And I think that I started rebuilding the strategy of YOUNGSHIP in Oslo during the financial crisis. That's when we really recreated the purpose of YOUNGSHIP to fill gaps in the industry and to look at what is it that we can do as young people when our industry is struggling. Instead of waiting for somebody to change the industry, we took on the role of identifying where there were like key struggles and then what can we do from our side. And we also very deliberately, we looked at how can we build up YOUNGSHIP in a way where you can get leadership experience without having leadership in your job role, so that you can start building the next leaders while they're still on a more junior level. Then I took on the role as director of North Shipping in the beginning of the offshore crisis. And we did the same. We looked at, okay, here you have some key challenges ahead. How can we just kind of reset our mindset and look at how to turn a challenge and a crisis into an opportunity? And it's been the same also now during COVID. With Tool, we shifted the sequence of our strategic priorities. I brought in more people. It was easier to sign contracts and get new partners on board quicker because a lot of the people they weren't away traveling for long trips and away. They were much more accessible. People are much more open to think outside the box. And I would say, you know, there is the saying, never waste a good crisis. I think this is really the point that defines us, is how do we enter into a period of crisis? We can sit and be very frustrated, and of course that's allowed. But at the same time, with the young executive network, we can also reach out to each other, and then we can look at, okay, what are the key challenges ahead now? And then how can we look at solving them from very diverse backgrounds? And then I have to make one comment, because you asked me about the personal part, Danae, and of course I'm a single mom with 2 small kids, so we did homeschooling and kindergarten and everything from home. But at the same time, I think this is an opportunity for the industry, for parents to combine work and family. I have built my company the way that I would have, you know, had my dream company, my dream employer a few years ago. So I have built it in a way that it's inclusive, so that I can do my job and I can have the kids with me. I just hired a new team member from Singapore. She is still in a parental leave with a small baby girl, and she doesn't have a kindergarten yet. So we just figured out a cool way of utilizing her capacity in the best way possible, while still also facilitating to the needs of the family. So I think this is also for our industry and for our generation. We don't have to follow the rules from the old generation. We don't have to follow the structures. We can sit down and recreate the game. And I think this is my big challenge to you guys, is really look at the opportunities and think of, how would you like our industry to be? How would you like the companies to function as employers? And then we can create those mechanisms, we can create those structures, and that is our power. And then we can empower and inspire and create the foundation for an industry that is really a thriving, good industry for young people.
So we're 2 hours and 6 minutes live. We could be another 6 hours and 6 minutes live, but it's very late in Asia and we have to wrap soon. And you are right for the countries in Asia, because we're covering all over the world. So round 2 will happen for sure. We cannot give a save day. I mean, save the date, because it was the first time. And of course, we were sure that we can make it happen, but we did it better than expected, and this is great. So I would like to make one question, and I would like a positive message from all of you to wrap it. And then, of course, for the ones who are listening to us, we will definitely send new date of discussion for replying to all the audience questions, and not only. How this cooperation of all these organizations can change the history of global maritime industry. They have been done 2 or 3 questions like this, so they believe that we're writing history, and this is great. So let's start off with the positive message and close this great online dialogue. Maria, from the UK.
Thank you, Danae. I would say that this is something, it's a very positive initiative and it's a very exciting one. We are now, I would like to say that we should not be thinking as working from home, we can be working from anywhere. And this is exactly the purpose of bringing people from all over the world together. And I think this is just the beginning, and we're going to see some great things coming out of this.
Great. Tomoki from Japan. Your positive message.
Oh, sorry.
Your positive message for this that has happened.
Oh, yeah. So I think so young people are a little bit afraid by older generations. I think so more need ocean innovations. It needs young peoples. And the future makes us young peoples, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Tabitha from Hong Kong.
Sorry. I would just say that, well, during COVID, which we shall not speak of, it seemed pretty much that the whole world had to stop. but one thing that didn't stop was the shipping industry. Everyone in the industry kept working and kept the supply chain moving, and I think that's a testament to just how important and interesting our industry is. So that's my positive message.
Of course, Gina, UK.
Well, I think, Danai, that this is an amazing initiative. So I just want to quickly say congratulations once again. I think we should all clap for Danai. She's been so amazing in bringing this together. So we are really making history today. And I think the positive message is that we have a duty to change this industry from the outside inside, probably. And going on to what Birgit just said, that it's in our hands, basically, to create the future of this industry that's so important to this world in a way that we want to see going forward. Thank you, Danai.
Great. Mark from Singapore.
Hi. Yeah, for Singapore, I think we are all looking forward for the end of the circuit breaker soon. And from YOUNGSHIP Singapore, we will be back with you with our new outdoor events very soon. So stay in touch.
Great. Birgit.
Yes, I would say that my clearest optimistic message is that it is really in the time of crisis where young people get the opportunities to get to the table. So utilize that opportunity. Don't be shy. Think of yourself as a tool for the industry and for your own generation. And have fun.
Have fun, of course. Fotini from Cyprus.
I would say let's all develop the habit of never stop learning and continue being curious. So I'm looking forward for the second part of this session. And thank you, Danai, for bringing us all together.
Thank you too. Ellie from New York, USA.
An amazing opportunity, but for everyone listening at home, you're not alone. And I think a reminder here is that you've never been alone, and it's only when we can come together that we really realize how global this initiative will be, and can be, and will be, and should be, and I hopefully can be a part of it with all of you.
Right, Wei from China.
Yeah, thank you. I think you really appreciate this initiative to get us connected. And I would say, just like the different countries, we would take them baby step to ease up the lockdown and try our best to make our life and the job back to normal. So under this kind of new normalities, I think we needed to keep life learning, and we need to adapt to a new environment, no matter what it is, because we are young, we represent a future for the industry. The hope is resting with us. So keep happy, hunting, and alive. Keep going.
Great. Murat from Dubai.
Yeah, we can do all better all together.
You're right, Murat. Sinem from Turkey.
I mean, this is an amazing initiative. We are connecting all parts of the world. I mean, we see that distance really doesn't matter. The difficulties that we're seeing really doesn't matter, because we shall overcome this. And I believe we really do all together. Thank you.
Great. Maria from Venezuela.
Well, first of all, Danai, once again, thank you. I'm so happy for being today with you guys. Hope to see the second part. And I think that the cooperation of these organizations will bring a lot of positive things, because when everyone gathers in one same place with same ideas and want to do good things come.
Great. YOUNGSHIP Panama, Nigeria.
Hi, once again, Danai, thank you. My positive message is that I think that you can change the maritime industry in a positive way, and to tell them that always be going and always positive and never stop learning.
Great. Sumit, India.
Yes, Danae. So first of all, congratulations. The initiative is brilliant, and I can see all of us brimming with positivity and energy. So well done, Danae. My message is, I think in the current times, is that we need to create hope, because creating hope in a hopeless situation. We feel that this COVID-19 pandemic is a hopeless situation, but actually it's an opportunity to create hope, to push ourselves to our maximum capacity, and I think to really test our capabilities. And so that when this is over, we'll emerge a different people, a new person, stronger, and I think much more equipped to deal with the world.
Great. I'm not missing anybody. Evanthea from Yes. Evanthea likes very much the coach, I can tell you. She's in love with the coach, so she must have the coach.
What I want to say to all the young people around the globe, like most of us, is that if opportunity doesn't knock, please build a door. That's what we did today, and I'm very happy that we are all of us part of it. Thank you.
What I will say and how we'll close is once there is a will, there is a way, and every year has 366 opportunities of the 366 days. So, and every day is different, and we will not have the same day in our lives. So it was great for all of us for the 5th of June of 2020 to be all together and to see the positive side of life and of a crisis, which is that we're all united. Thank you very, very much for this dialogue, and we will speak again soon. Thank you all for joining. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.